Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another session of daily recaps. Today's day is March 11th. It is a Wednesday. We came out with minus 2R on the day. This is the trades here that we did take. Let's rewind this so we don't gotta have all that extra shit. But this is the trade here, and basically what it was trading the 15-minute C3, 15-minute C3 continuation, and the goal was to get to all of these highs that stacked up next to each other here on NQ, as that is what we was aiming for. There was SMT in between these lows with YM, as YM is heading lower and ES is kind of just fucking around. With this being said, all of that being said, the first trade was a very valid trade that I should have taken, and I don't regret taking whatsoever. Very valid, very happy with it, very high confidence. However, my second trade, the loss, did not need to be taken like that, right? So with that being said, this second trade is a perfect example of a key lesson to take into the future, is that I need to recognize market conditions. I didn't recognize market conditions before the first loss, and I failed to zoom out. Let's just put that way. And I failed to recognize the market conditions that we're currently in. And after that, of course, now I'm going to be relaxing until we are completely outside of this range, because this is not the market conditions that I thrive in. This is the first loss inside of this range that I feel like is truly unnecessary. In terms of the way that we trade and the model and stuff, that is caused from market conditions in itself. Yesterday's loss was caused from bad bias and not following the framework that I do trust and know. But today's cost is fucking the market conditions in itself. And yeah, away from that, let's go and drop into this and talk about the trade, why we got on side with the trade, and everything else in between. With that being said, let's get some fresh charts in here. And yeah, so taking a look here on the daily time frame, as you can tell, I just zoom out on the daily time frame, take a look at where we're at, what is happening. YM is very much bearish. However, what is NQ doing? To me, it fed into the range, and the reasoning why I wanted to go and trade higher is because we went into range low here on the daily. We do have a daily C2, and it's a very expansive daily C2. With that daily C2 being very expansive now, what can we take notice of here is we would want to see a daily C3 up to where? Well, ultimately, we want to see a go up to that high, right? Ultimately, long-term target type shit. However, where we want to reach sometime this week is up to this high, as it is a low-hanging fruit here on the daily time frame. With that being said, why could you have anticipated, or why did this accumulation day happen? It happened because of the fact that the previous day was a massive expansion candle. What can happen after a massive expansion on the daily time frame? A daily fucking accumulation, because after expansion comes a different phase in price. It can be a reversal or an accumulation. We want to see an accumulation Y or a retracement Y, because we want to see that continuation up to these draws that is located above. So with that being said, I'm trading within a daily C2, C3, and we can see that there is an SMT in between this previous day's low, leaving me with a possibility for us to continue higher to my draw on liquidity, which is ultimately those highs there. But we're not going to utilize that SMT because I wasn't looking at during the time period, right? So with that being said, this is my current day, which I'm currently within, and we could take notice of a very messy daily profile at first, right? So I did think that, okay, when I first came onto the charts, I wanted to see this low get taken out, so that way we can go and trade that internal to external model, and that technically takes out all of this low resistance that's located here on the chart. With that being said, what do? We take out the low here on YM, and YM does take out these lows, and there is an SMT that is left out here like that now. So we do have reasoning for us to go up higher. Oh shit, that's a 7-hour chart. It's not even a fucking 6. My bad, big dog. Unbelievable. Okay, cool. So with that being said, we do have SMT, as YM sets this SMT there, and we want to go and trade up to these failure swings as 1, 2, 3, all of this right here. Those are all things that we want to see price go up to. So with that being said, we can see a daily open low, clear profile. So with the clear profile, what am I going to be looking for? Oh shit, sorry. Not that one. Clear profile. right? And then what do we want to look for is a bounce here on a YM to reverse price. So that way we can see NQ, the stronger asset, go to those failure swings. So from that clear profile, look on the 4-hour time frame. Let's see how the 6 a.m. candle closes. 6 a.m. closes as what? A very powerful C2 closure. So with 6 a.m. closing as a very powerful C2 closure away from this low, reversing price during that 9:30 driver. So with that being said here, SMT is going to be showing your strength in between the assets. 6 o'clock closes very bullish as an ideal C2 as well on the 4-hour time frame. So with this ideal C2, I'm anticipating for what? I'm anticipating for a 10 o'clock. Oh shit. Whatever. My bad. Let me mark out 10. There you go. Well, I'm really struggling right now. Fuck. Right? And then you do see this. I want to go and trade up higher from where? The midpoint of that previous. Fuck, man. Fucking fib, bro. This is the only thing I don't like about using this fib for my RR2 is that I lose the line once I click it. You know what I mean? So 50. Right, so we want to see the 10 a.m. candle go and expand higher from the midpoint of that previous 4-hour candle. How do we want to see it form? With a 15-minute swing formation. So what do we take notice of? Market does have that opening. Let's take this off there, and what do we see is a 15-minute swing formation that's actually pushing into into 10 a.m. So we can see 10 a.m. just expand up to all three of these highs that is located above us. So there is liquidity still available. 15-minute swing. I market enter for that 10 a.m. positional entry for us to go up higher. Ways that this loss could have been avoided was waiting possibly because this high got impacted, but I didn't see this high as relevant, and I seen it more so as a failure swing to the rest of the highs that is located above, and this should have just ripped straight through it. With that being said, I want to take note of that. Would I do it the exact same? Yes, I would. Because why? This high, yes, it's the highest point of the current day. However, this high is the next target, which is within previous day's range. So I'm not viewing this as relevant highs. However, it did act as a relevant high, and it's something that I do want to go and take note of to bring me into the future. But with that being said, how could we have seen it as a relevant high? As you can tell, there are different price legs. This price leg here is different from this price leg here, making this not low resistance, but two different relevant points of interest. That's a way that you could see it. Did I see it like that? No. And how can you actually see it as well as relevant points of interest? If it's on the higher time frame like this is an hourly high, which is very important in terms of the next hourly high that is located there, right? These aren't hourly highs. This is low resistance. These are relevant swings as they are separated in distance from each other, right? Just the same as I would include this as a relevant high to this one. Yes, they're very close. However, we could still get a reaction off of this. Are we still going to this high after those relevants get impacted though? Yes. You know, it might do a reaction, but you do not trade away from the failures. These highs will beg for a reaction, but it will not trade ultimately away from this, which it did today, obviously, but that's where I was posted on it. So with that being said, I took that first 15-minute C2 out of this gap. I don't want to see this low anymore. Validate that C2 with a V-shape reversal. We have the V-shape here, and I do take notice that all of this is fucking already pushing. I take it like that. Stops goes to the C2's low, and then I want to see higher to that ultimate draw on liquidity that was up higher. That went straight to stop loss there, and we took that L. With that L, relax. Recenter yourself. Okay, cool. What do we get? Another 15-minute model, as we do have a 15-minute C2 here. And with this 15-minute C2 here now, I'm trading within the C3. And with that C3, I can probably say the entry is like right there. Boom. And target was up to there. And now I look for what? The lower time frame signature of that V shape with the CISD. So do we have the CISD? Do we have the V shape? Do we have the displacement? Yes, yes, and yes. This candle did close very strongly up there as well with a full body. Yes, there's a wick, but this was a very powerful candle, very fast moving. I remember in real time. And then we entered on the retap of this CISD there, and we took that loss as well. So that secondary loss, I will say, is not valid, and I shouldn't have taken it. However, the first loss in itself is valid, and I feel like is should have been taken. And the reasoning why the second loss I feel like is invalid and we shouldn't have taken, it's not because the setup wasn't there, right? This is something I have to get better at myself, is filtering between what, just because the setup is there doesn't mean it's a good setup. I had to zoom out, which I failed to do, and zooming out we can take notice that we are within a higher time frame consolidation range, meaning that first loss was valid. The second loss, it already became trash. The deep retracement here within this price leg already immediately told me that we probably shouldn't take it because it's becoming trash. It's deep retracements. This is low resistance to this low resistance. YM now is failing to actually manipulate with the SMT during this time period, though, right? During this exact time period, we can take notice that YM right here around 1024 and shit. Sorry, my bad. Right, during this time period right here at that 10 o'clock candle, YM is doing a V shape with that SMT that's pointed like this on this low. So YM was pushing out of it and almost getting a CISD here, but YM didn't. I don't really do that anymore like how I used to. But with that being said, it fucking YM I thought was reversing as well, and that's kind of why I took it on this one. And again, the exact same thing happened here where YM was showing me that it was reversing. Where's my 1030, right? Oh, shit. Again, as well, YM was showing me reversal of signatures from 1030 to 1045. And right at that 1045 mark, what do we take notice of YM? YM is pretty much doing a CISD that's located here with a V-shaped reversal, again, off of the low point of the day. So with this CISD that's located there, I can assume that the same candle closure here is valid for me to just take, for us to expand up higher. Did that happen again? No, it didn't. And then we slow grinded with just deep retracements and we're not reversing. So that's where that's at. Ways that I could have done better today was obviously not taking the second trade, but recognizing that that higher time frame consolidation is in effect. With that being said, I am not trading until we are outside of this consolidation, because this is where I lose money. And that is where just market experience of just me back testing my live market is. This is not my market conditions where I thrive in, and this is where I often lose the most money, or I go on those losing streaks, because now it's just very choppy. So what am I going to do is, my protocol for this is just wait for one of the externals get impacted. Preferably I wouldn't want to see, there is SMT now, as you can tell from here and here, but I don't want to see this SMT. I kind of want NQ to go and take this low as well, so that way it cleans up the whole chart in itself and we don't have to worry about SMTs. Like, they're there, but as you can tell, they're not getting respected. So we're going to have to see big displacement to the upside in order for those SMTs to be considered valid. For me today, though, I thought today was going to be a better day with the SMTs and shit like that, because there was also CPI. Why as well do you think, my bad, I didn't even talk about that. That's crazy. Why as well do you think that we are consolidating here, by the way? Like, we left this high yesterday. It's because this price leg right here that I was looking in, I was thinking of it more so as a consolidation because of Monday and Tuesday. Monday was an expansion day. Tuesday was going to consolidate. Why? Because it's the day before CPI, right? The day before CPI, we can see these consolidations and the missed deliveries, because we're going to leave that liquidity for CPI to want to go and take. Did CPI do that today? No. So CPI actually chopped alongside with it. So I got chopped up there, -2R on the day, which is fine, but the second loss, like I said, could have been avoided, and that goes into the journal. For market, I need to get better at that. I know I do. And that's pretty much it, right? Stepped away from there and just calling it a day from there and not digging your hole deeper, right? It's just a choppy day and not for me. I was not bearish, I was bullish, but that's just what happened. And also, I just want to talk on a little bit of psych, because I walk away right after I lose twice in a day. I usually just walk away. I don't do these recaps until later because it stings a little. But right now, I can honestly say where my emotions and my mindset is that it doesn't really sting that much right now. Not as much as it used to, but I think it's because I'm very confident. I am right now very, very extremely confident in my trading abilities and just the data that I am collecting currently. Right, I am no longer trading, as you can tell, I am no longer trading the drivers like that anymore. And the reasoning why I'm not trading the drivers is because of my live market data that I did track on TradeZello, right? If I was to only trade post 10 a.m., yes, my frequency is going to be a lot lower. It is at least profitable where I am trading at like a 56% win rate at 2R, and just within, if I was only to go and trade post 10 a.m. over the last 5 months, I am green every single month by a healthy amount too. Over the last 8 months worth of data, I even looked over all my data from like November, October, and shit like that. October, I was ass, don't get me wrong, but November was where I started to really fine tune into certain things. And one of the things that I am focusing on right now, see if I can bring it up. I don't know if I have it up here. One of the things that I am focused on right now is this guy. This guy right here is very fucking. Oh, actually, I don't have it up, but it's just those 15-minute C2s, bro. If I can focus on the 15-minute C2s and trade in the C3s, then we can go and push forward from there. But yeah, that's pretty much that, dog. Oh, this is yesterday's loss. Cool. Did I not write for that one? That's crazy. Whatever. Fucking probably did the screenshots. That's why super late at 1 o'clock in the morning. Busy yesterday. Whatever. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it, dog. I'll catch you guys in the next session. I don't know how to fucking end this, right? All right, peace.